Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask a Virgo with myself, the Skywalker, and my, what I'd like to say, my cohort, my partner in crime, my ride or die, Malika. How are you doing, Malika, this afternoon, and how's your week been?
It is, see, she says afternoon. For me, it's evening, y'all, because we on two different coasts. But
We
yes,
are.
yes, I'm doing fabuloso. Yeah,
Ow.
man, everything's good. What, today is hump day. I may get hump today.
It's so hump day for you, Ash Wednesday for me.
Ash
Being
Wednesday as
the,
well.
the Caribbean and Southern region,
And Catholics all over
Caribbean
the
has
world.
Carnaval in Louisiana and Texas. From Mobile, Alabama, all the way from to Mississippi and New Orleans, we celebrate Mardi Gras.
Yes.
So yesterday was Fat Tuesday. Today is Ash Wednesday.
I was trying to ask her about a king cake. I was a day late and a dollar short because I was a little late in this shit. But I did do my ashes properly, so I'm good with that. Ha ha ha.
And my son is trying to give me diabetes.
Oh, geez, Louise. Geez, Louise. Not the diabetes.
Lord, this is sweet.
Ooh, ooh, ooh. Maybe he's trying to say, Mommy, you're just as sweet as this tea.
We're gonna hit the mic real quick.
Oh, shit. So, look, you guys, tonight we're going to be talking about some Virgos, right? Some Virgos who did some fascinating things. Um, what was Jean Jacques Dessalines? I think I'm saying his name right. I'm going to have to.
Yes.
Yes. So, he actually was one of the founding fathers of Haiti. That's the way they say it. If you're
That
from
is the
Haiti,
correct way that they used to say it was Haiti. Yeah.
Haiti, or Haiti as you guys know it now. So he was one of the founding fathers, and he was one of the leaders in the revolution. And he was a Virgo born on September 20, 1758. So we're going to give him a shout out. We're also going to talk a little bit about, and if you want to go ahead and because you know I'm going to butcher her name, Madame Lavary.
Madame Laurie, the
Okay.
world's not the world's, but the first acknowledged female serial killer in the South. She
Yes.
yeah, she killed a lot of slaves.
Yeah, she was a crazy one. But we're also going to talk about the young lady that took her down, who happened to be a Virgo. I'm going to let you give the name.
Marie Laveau,
Marie Catherine Laveau. Yes,
the
ma'am.
Blue Priestess, yes.
Yes, and she was a Virgo, and she was born on September 10th. And so tonight we'll be talking about two Virgos and Plaçage.
Do you want to tell them what the meaning of plaçage means?
So if I understand correctly, and I may butcher this, you guys, and so I'm sure Dutchie's going to be a lifeline if I need it. But Plaçage is agreement that is entered to by a white male and a lady of African descent, but not fully African. So she's more mulatto. So I would say half and less African
A
descent,
quarter. So to
a
be a
quarter and less.
they would want you. They prefer women of color to be a quarter African. So,
Or less.
or, well, no, not so much less,
Okay.
because they want them to have that quarter African.
I
They
got
want them to be mulatto, so they don't want the African to be so far gone that now
So is it a quarter African or more?
give or take if you're free or not,
Okay, okay, okay.
and if you're the color of a paper bag. This
Ah,
is brown paper bag theory comes from, and a lot of people don't understand that when they start talking about AKAs and what it took uh, to actually pledge. A lot of times, what people don't realize, where we come to understand a lot of these rules of why a certain shade of color, especially in the Louisiana region, the New Orleans and the French Quarter region, um, this is where that theory, the paper bag.
brown paper bag. You can't be darker than the brown paper
No,
bag.
you cannot. And you need to be born of free parents.
Okay.
So that's the other thing about it, is being born to free parents and so forth. So here's what Plaçage is. We'll explain Plaçage and then we'll run it back and explain to you how we got to Plaçage. So Plaçage is, think of a ball, think of a Southern Belle ball, but not quite. This is a ball where there are women that look about my complexion, about Malika's complexion, and variants from as dark as a paper bag to as light, right? However, you need to have a quarter African, and that is because of the exotic features.
Mm-hmm.
So we have always been an exotic anomaly to them. So when you add a European gene, it tends to change our hair texture, and it tends to change our complexion, and it changes our eye color. Um, Now, obviously, we know that you can be complete African and you can be of any shade and
Yes.
any eye color. So I don't want to muddle any of that. So let's just, but we're going to sit that to the side for now. We're speaking on the mulattoes of New Orleans. So these white Frenchmen that after the Jean de Couleur, and we'll get into what that is, these white Frenchmen came over, the Spaniards as well, because I don't know why a lot of people just associate New Orleans with just the French. No, it's Spanish and French
Yes.
influence. And they wanted uh, mistresses. Most of them entered agreements with their wives, their actual Caucasian wives, but that was because of politics. Uh, for political reasons, they had to have a white wife, but that's not what they were desired to want. Their desire laid with the women of the Plaçage. So this ball was had once a woman was of age. She was adorned with beautiful dresses. She had an overseer, which was usually her black grandmother or her black mother or whomever. These were women that were free. These were not that were slaves. That these were women that also had slaves, black slaves working in their homes. So a woman that looks like myself would have owned slaves. A woman that looks like Malika would have been friends. She would have been in my cultural norm for us to be friends because of our complexion. We would have been high society, and we would have owned Haitians that would have come over for work because we also are now mistresses of some white man. Now, you can have kids with this white man, and he has to enter an agreement that he will pay for these kids and he will provide a home and so on. So basically, you're living a high society life, but you got a baby daddy. See, this is when the original baby daddies came.
The OGs.
The OG baby daddies. So when I say baby daddies, I'm heavy on the air quotes, okay?
Yeah. Because everybody assumes that it's automatically like baby daddy started with black men.
No, it did not. This started with there were the Plaçage. Now, mind you, these white men, they did claim their children.
Yeah.
But they were not allowed to have their last name.
Or come to the house.
Or they could never come to the plantation house. But they were promised the education. They were promised, a lot of different things. So a lot of people are unaware of this until there was a movie about Plaçage that came out. So unless you know what it is, you don't know. So basically, it's a high society whorehouse. We can call it all the nice things that you want to, because you're basically paired up with a man of means, who's a white man of means, who's going to take care of you. He's going to still go home to his wife and whatever kids he might have procured in his original marriage, and whatever children he has with you, he will split his time between there and there. Yeah. He might even take a few of his female slaves that work at the big house
and bring them to come work with you.
And bring them to come work for you.
Mm-hmm. Which is typically what happens. It's not like they go out and buy you your own personal slave. They typically just bring somebody that they like, that they may also be screwing into your home.
Now, see, the downside to this, here's the fucked up side to this, is that society is very acceptable.
Yes.
And they're wanting, and here's why. The men get that part of African, and they get to breed out the rest of whatever African you have with their offspring. Yes. So they have children that are passing for white. You got to think about Creole society. If y'all know anything about Creole society, what real Creoles look like. Now, again, Creole. Creole is not focused specifically in Louisiana. Creole is actually a mix of European, of some sort of European and African, and
French
indigenous.
and Spanish. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be Spaniard and African. So basically, it's any sort of European and African descent. Um, and I think there's a third one. It's got it. I think it's a third that combines. Or if you're Creole and you're from the U.S., it could be of African and some sort of Indian native descent. So it's a specific type of mix that makes you that. What people don't understand is this was a big deal. This is what people wanted to look like. This was a society that they had made of redheaded, light skinned, green eyed people of color. And this is what was desirable. It was not desirable to be dark skinned. So that's just that's just what it was. So they came up with the Plaçage. And this was a way for a man to come and pick you out in a high society ball and to make you his whore.
Yeah.
Except for you weren't called a whore. You were a mistress that was looked at as a second wife.
Yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
better than toilets back then. So I guess to them it was high society because they got to live in elegance.
Yeah.
But God forbid one of your children ever tried to claim the name or
go there to go meet one of their siblings.
Yes. Yeah. So that's that. But all of this started back since we're still in Black History Month. All of this started back with Haiti's freedom. Without the freedom of Haiti, this would have never been possible.
Yes.
A lot of people traveled after the slaughter of the French soldiers during the Jean de Colère. A lot of them traveled to wherever ports they could come through. And Louisiana was one of the main ports at that time.
Louisiana and places in Texas.
Yeah, Louisiana, places in Texas and Florida also.
Yes.
So these were, and this is so you guys can understand that Creoles, I don't know why people think they're just in Louisiana. They're in Mississippi. That's why I said from Mobile, Alabama, on down to Mississippi and Louisiana, Texas. All of that is Creole land.
Yes.
And and Florida too. It's just, I think names displace everything because you hear, oh, Caribbean, yeah, Caribbean and European, still Creole.
Yes.
There's part of Cuba that it's Creole Cuban food. You know what I mean? Because they're of Spaniard and of African descent, which is European and African descent, Creole. Yeah. So that will explain why some of us look the way that we look. You know. And again, you have that anyway.
So the way that we came upon this topic is Dutchie, one of her favorite movies is The Feast of All Saints.
Yeah.
Right. And so we had a movie night and we watched the movie and we wanted to talk about the movie and kind of cover, what it was about. Lo and behold, we did some research and found out that two of the key characters in this particular era were Virgos. And that's why we mentioned the two characters from earlier on. And I didn't mean to interrupt, but I kind of want you guys to kind of get a tie back to kind of why we chose this topic and everything, because it is really interesting. And it's also a history lesson because these are things that actually did happen back in the past. And so while we're covering Black history, as that you pointed out earlier, we're going to be covering various topics and various themes to kind of get you guys through it and help you understand that, Black history covers a lot of different stuff.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to give the exact definition of the word Plaçage. Plaçage, which is spelled Placage.
And that C has the little mark under.
It's Plaçage. So
yes,
it's a very French word. Plaçage. It is a form of marital union, often illegal in nature, found in the Caribbean during the colonial period between a Caucasian man and a woman of mixed races, such as a mulatto or a Creole. I guess I explained it pretty good, but
you did a perfect job.
I guess the part that we needed to be very specific was understand illegal marriage. Basically, this man has taken a second wife of illegal nature, So she's really just mistress. But yeah,
but he's entered into a contract because don't they sign those contracts?
Yes. So let's see what else. It is French. They don't give you a whole lot of information on it, but it does basically tell you, yeah, no matter how many times different ways you go to look at it, that's all the information that they'll give you is what it is. So basically, it's an illegal union. So here's what I do have is a Plaçage was recognized extra legal system in French and Spanish slave colonies of North America by which ethnic European men entered into a civil union with non-European of African, Native American, and mixed race descent. The term comes from the French word placer. Hold on, lost my place. Which meaning to place with. The women were not legally recognized as wives, but were known as places. Their relationships were recognized among the free people of color as the marriage de la main, gauche, or left-handed marriages. Isn't that some wild shit?
Yeah.
Left marriages, they became institutionalized with the contracts and negotiations that settled property on the woman and her children, and in some cases gave them freedom if they were enslaved. Yeah. The system flourished throughout the French and the Spanish colonial periods, reaching its zenith during the latter between 1769 and 1803.
Okay.
So I would guess about 1803 is kind of when it started to fade, because I want y'all to remember something. We think that segregation has always been, and it hasn't. It was really a thing where Brazil did not look at intermixing with us as taboo. So they were known to have women, and it was no secret. And there were some women that were given freedoms, and they were the concubine, so to speak, or the mistress of whomever. So it wasn't a taboo thing. Segregation is a here thing.
Oh, yeah.
And a Cuba thing.
A Jim Crow thing. Yeah.
So Cubans adapted to segregation following the U.S. The U.S. was the only country that believed in segregation. And that was because somebody decided, and possibly I would say white women. I don't think that it was the men. I think white women were not having it. They were not comfortable with it, and it became a taboo thing. So Karen started talking shit way back in the day. And wasn't having that. And that's what made it such a taboo thing. And I think them being attracted to the men and those, what do they call it? Penis envy. Black men have to go through that, with white men having a whole, the penile envy thing. So penis envy was a whole big.
And black women have to go through figure envy.
Yes. Yeah. So
just having curves at all.
Yeah. So because this,
from your lips to your hips, baby.
Right. So because this country believed in segregation because of a lot of insecurities, a lot of other countries started to adapt that. So
including South Africa, who had apartheid for a very long time.
Yes. So they said it was widely practiced in New Orleans, where the planter society had created enough wealth to support the system. Right. So you need,
So they got enough wealth to support like 2 families.
Yeah. There was, they, like, you have to think too, because most of these were not small plantations. These were cane fields, and not so cotton was like further in Georgia. You know what I mean?
What's up, established?
What up, bro? Oh, what's up? What's up?
You found some interest in this one, huh?
Okay. Yeah, I had to finish my dinner and whatnot, so I had to hop in here.
Okay. You got his North Carolina shirt on. We see you representing your state.
Oh yeah, all day, all day.
Yeah. So where did I stop? Okay, so they had enough wealth to support the system. It also took place in Latin-influenced cities of Natchez, Biloxi, Mississippi, Mobile, Alabama, St. Augustine, Pensacola, Florida, as well as Santo Domingo, which were all the places that I named, and these are all the places that in my DNA, in my path, my family has walked through all of this, through this transatlantic slave trade in all these places, with the exception of, I don't think I have anything in Mobile.
Y'all talking
Plaçage.
Plaçage. The word Plaçage, and so here's what I'm going to tell you. So this is what a plaçage is. Plaçage was a recognized extra-legal system in French and Spanish slave colonies of North America, including the Caribbean, by which ethnic European men entered into civil unions with non-Europeans of African, Native American, and mixed race descent. The term comes from the French placer, meaning to place. Plaçage is what the word is. The women were not legally recognized as wives, but they were known as placees, and their relationships were recognized amongst the free people of color as marriages, or mariages de la main gauche, or left-handed marriages. So basically, you missed the first half. We were watching a movie, and we decided to talk about, we're still in Black History Month, what the plaçage was. So basically, let me give you the short version. Short version, you're a European man. We're two women of African descent, but we're a quarter African. They want you to be mixed. You have to have some African in you. You have to.
They want you to have some ass and some boobs and maybe some lips.
So it's part of the thing. So of course you have to come from African, but they want a woman that is of mixed race. So that Creole look. So they want you to be my complexion, her complexion. They want your hair to be a different density. But they were in love with these women. So what they would do is, say my mother or my grandmother or my overseer, not a white man or a white woman, to my actual DNA or whoever was caring for me, would send me to a ball, dress me up, kind of like a fucking quinceañera. But imagine
you out.
It's a quinceañera. Imagine a quinceañera, but you're going to be paraded around a bunch of white men so you can be chosen.
You're gonna be pimped out.
So basically, it's like a quinceañera in a player's ball all at the same fucking time. Basically, yeah. You know, you really are there to get pimped out, because what it is your overseer, your mother, your grandmother, they don't want you to have black babies. They want you to have light-skinned babies so your babies can stand a chance. You understand what I'm saying? This is how it was put to them. You can't stand a chance in a world like this having a black baby. So therefore, you were already born free. You need to have a baby that is lighter. So have a baby with this white man.
Because the boys they would send over to France to get educated.
Right, yes. Remember,
the females they can marry off to another white man.
If the father,
so everybody continues to get elevated is the way they were looking at it.
Right. But you want to keep everything paper bag and below. You don't want anything darker than a paper bag.
Also, it's just like kind of like whitewashing, basically.
Yeah, that's what they did.
We're talking about how the Creole society came to be. So this is basically how Creole society first.
Just talking about this, I was just talking about this. I said the only difference between the Creole and what we is that a French oppressed you, and you came up in their culture eating their
Spanish. Yeah, that's the Spaniards and the French. Yeah, it's the same shit. Yeah. It's exactly the same what you're saying. Right. So what they did. So the French and the Spaniards. All right, let me pull it back. The French went to Haiti. I'm gonna give y'all a short history lesson. French went over to Haiti, enslaved all the fucking Haitians. Right. This was when it was Saint Louis. They enslaved all these Haitians. Haitians one day got together and said, you know what? We finna do some voodoo ritual. We finna get rid of these motherfuckers. They gotta go. They did it. They slaughtered them. They killed white women, white babies, white officers, anything that had anything to do with slavery. The Haitians cut them off at the fucking knees. It was like a bloodbath. This
made by Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who's a Virgo.
Jean Dessalines, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, now where we fucked up at was when the Haitians burned down all the sugarcane fields, because it singed the earth so bad that now Haiti never grow sugarcane there again, because they fucked up the soil doing it. The cause was good. The after effects hundreds of years later was not.
Monday morning quarterbacking.
Yeah. So basically, now we move forward, 15, 20 years, I think it was after. It was like 15, 20 years. Haitians start migrating to Louisiana. They start moving across the Gulf. Well, Haitians are going to go where they're most comfortable. Haitians are French speaking. Mm-hmm. You have to think all the Europeans that were there and occupied Haiti all of this time. This is a French speaking colony. Yeah. So they go, and they're also Spanish speaking. Now, y'all, I want y'all to remember this. Wasn't no fucking Dominicans yet. I don't know why people don't understand this shit, like history. There were no Dominicans yet. You understand?
Everybody was Haitian.
Everything was Haitian. Santo Domingo was Haiti. Originally, it was Hispaniola, honestly.
Hispaniola,
It was Hispaniola. Then it became Haiti, which we know as Haiti.
Haiti, yeah.
Right. So now we have all these Haitians go over, and this is where all of the shit happens. They go to the French Quarter. You have these Frenchmen that are plantation owners. You have these Spaniards that come over that are plantation owners. You know what? Damn, we like the way these black bitches look. They look good. You know what?
It kind of took place before slavery because it was indentured servitude when they had the Louisiana Purchase before all of that.
Yeah.
Well, that's so that's what you missed. We had just got into that about all throughout the Caribbean. So we had just got into that. This was actually this was a thing way before it came to New Orleans. New Orleans was probably the newest place that adapted to it.
Right.
It was already happening everywhere else, right? So now this place is no longer indentured servitude now. We can actually claim y'all. So you know what? I would make you my second wife. But here's the deal. We have kids. This motherfucker can't come to my house. He can't come to my house.
Because I'm going to call him a nigga just like I call all the rest of them.
Yep, he can get my daddy middle name. He can't have my name, though. And if he comes to my plantation, he will be treated as a slave.
Yeah.
He will be treated like a nigga.
Yeah.
If he comes. If he doesn't, he's going to go to France. He's going to live a life. He's going to have a great job. And I'm going to make sure that he's taking care of accounts. So they make accounts. They have bank accounts. These women get cottages. They get dresses. They get all of this shit. All you have to do is play mistress to Mr. White Man. And make sure your kids know their
the psychological, the psyche behind that still is in our culture a little bit because, you know, back
Absolutely. Yeah.
You know, it was a benefit, you know, so it's still kind of, you know, but the French is all in our whole culture, restaurant, cliche, croissant, you know, it's in there. So they did enough too.
They are heavily in our culture. And that's why when I used to learn history about Napoleon, it wasn't until I became an adult that I knew the real history of Napoleon and how vile and how fucking disgusting he was, how racist he was. Napoleon re-established slavery.
Right.
You understand?
Well,
so they went back
again. Yeah, he was on some shit. Yeah, he was on some.
So they went back, they invaded Haiti again. So now we have given birth to this whole thing called the Plaçage. So now you have all of these light-skinned women that actually back then all of us would have been bred Creole. All of us. We are the textbook of what Creoles that would have been acceptable back then. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Power to the people. Right. I'd have been a Nat Turner.
But here's no, they'd have hung your black ass. You got to talking that Nat Turner shit. Here's what they did to us. This is where the Willie Lynch theory comes into play real heavy, right? Now I want y'all to think. I gave the years of time around when this stopped, which was like in the 1800s. Light-skinned people were of high society in this region. And all of those regions, and including in the Caribbean, but for right now, we're talking about the U.S. Light-skinned people were high society. They were very proud of being born of freed parents. They, you know, and some of them did come from slaves, but that was like kind of a taboo thing to admit. They owned slaves. People like me and you had field niggas in our house.
Yeah, but that go back to Ghana, the Sun guy, the all that whole little empire they had.
But that was a little bit different. These were people given to us by white folks. We didn't just go get these motherfuckers to work in our house. This was because I'm your mistress now, and because now I'm your mistress, you can't very well have me living and cleaning behind myself. I'm light-skinned. The nerve of you. I'm light-skinned and I'm Creole. Somebody has to come clean this shit for me and my half-white children. and there now you have.
And you also have to sleep with her.
Yeah. When I don't feel like it, you're gonna have to. So these men were bringing the darker, not freed women that they were already sleeping with to their mistress's home. Now he's got both of y'all living in the same damn house. You understand? And you taking care of the mistress, and the mistress slapped the shit out your ass and threatened to sell you on the block. Because back then, light-skinned women were even worse. They were.
But the context though, like
they were worse than black cops to black people.
But the French in relationships and sex, they always had a different from the Westerner person. It was always different. So they don't technically look at it the way a Western person would look at it. They understand certain things and look at certain things a lot different. You know, all that brothel.
Yeah, you remember sex was free love, and it was interesting and entertaining to them. Hence Sarah Bartman.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah.
The red light
So
district.
y'all know who Sarah Bartman is, right?
She was the famous
She was the
She was the black lady.
people. She was the black woman.
She had a big ass.
Right, that's right. They had her in the circus.
Yeah, they turned her. They tried to say she was free and all this, but she ended up dying from venereal disease and everything else. If you remember the dress that the white women used that have the bustle in the back, the little part, that dress was
medieval. Yeah.
That dress was mimicked behind Sarah Bartman.
Yeah.
They made those dresses to have bustles to mimic her behind. So
they were raping her.
Yes, they were absolutely. They were doing all types of shit.
Yeah.
But they were taking her to France. France was one of the places that she went all over. And she was introduced to many orgies, many parties. And to the French, you have to understand, France has always been free, even with homosexuality. One thing, and that's not a new thing for them. Like that's
not at all.
So you could be free in France, even being black in France. France just had a different type of freedom when it came to sex, liberation, being black, just all types of shit. They were some freaky fuckers.
We had a black intellectual that went over there and was telling her, who was his name? I want to say not a Kwame Ture. I forgot his name, but he was gay. He was black. He was he went over there. He was like, you technically get to live over there. They don't get judged over there like that. Now you're still black. It's different. They don't look.
Josephine Baker went over there in the 1920s as well. Yeah. Yeah, well, a lot of blacks went over there. Nina Simone.
Do y'all know how many Africans live in France?
Yes.
It is an enormous amount of Africans in France. And I've run into a couple and I'm like, well, hey, where you from? When I was in Italy. And I'm from France. No, fuck you not. You ain't from France. No, I'm from France.
I'm France.
Yes, I ain't from France. And then finally they'll break down to like, okay, all right, I'm from Ghana or some shit like that. But they claim France. They speak French. But they didn't originally.
Like the Woloffs.
Yeah, a lot of them will go and they will adapt to the culture there, adapt to the lifestyle there, and it's home for them. And
tight ass pants and all that shit.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, I mean, if you ever look at Black French, Creole society there, they just don't call it Creole society no more. But it's a lot of women that have the reddish curly hair that are half African and half European, half French and half black. That's a very common thing there. It's very common to see white men with a black woman. It's very common to see.
But now they good being with dark skinned women, out loud and out proud.
Yes, they don't have a preference on complexion over there. So I think
whereas they did over here. Yeah.
Well, that's why France was the end all be all to a lot of people that were coming out of slavery.
Yeah.
That's why they wanted to go, because
that's the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah, the original Statue of Liberty didn't look anything like what they gave us, though.
No, I had changed.
Like a black woman.
They had a change feet too, but that was a mix up in itself, because they kind of taught us like they was London before London.
Yes.
And the trick behind the Statue of Liberty is that liberty and freedom ain't the same thing.
Not at all.
A citizen has liberty, but freedom. So it's the trick with that right there. But
we don't have freedom. As long as you're American, you don't really have freedom. I mean,
you got liberty.
The Patriot Act, we don't have freedom.
Yeah.
Martial law and all that was commonplace after 9/11.
And
once that Patriot Act went into place, you can't even check out a book from the library without the government knowing about it.
But think about it. Now they don't even do that. Look at TikTok.
Yeah.
I understand the entertainment aspect, but they don't realize who owned that company and where is that data going.
Mm-hmm.
That's a whole different story. But But touching on what y'all was talking about, it happened to the Puerto Ricans because when I did my knowledge and research, that just mean what they say, gold port. That's not an actual race.
It's rich port.
Rich port. So they're more
Rich
like
port.
Taino Indians and stuff like that. But
Used
you
to
can't
be.
be a rich
Used
port.
to be. Just like everywhere else. And that's the shit that be killing me when I hear Puerto Rican. So I'm Taino. You know, there was also a group of natives that was wiped out.
Yeah, it was
they
a
were
lot
wiped
of.
out. Yep, they were wiped
three
out
or
by
four.
so you'll find some in their DNA. True, you know, the true Titans, yeah. But more times than not, you're gonna find African and European in their DNA. Just like Dominicans. Most Dominicans think that you will find a lot of Dominican, and most of them probably have maybe like 1%. It's predominantly African, and some give or take Portuguese or Spanish. Not a lot, unless you're more on the fair side, and you gotta be like really fair, closer to the Spaniard looking, and you still gonna find African in their DNA. But predominantly, most of Dominican Republic, and let me remind everybody, Hispaniola is one fucking island. It's one island. Only thing that separates Haiti from DR is a river and a time zone. That's it. Nothing else. That's it.
Yeah, I really only thing that really separate people from identifying is the politics. That's it.
Yeah.
The DR.
Well, I found a new theory. Hear me out. Check me out, y'all. It ain't complexion. It ain't politics. No. You want to know what? No, it ain't money either.
What?
Hair texture.
Really? Yeah, I guess it is. Yeah.
I want you to think about.
Okay. Yeah. Slick versus the Miami Wigs.
About this. You can go and I want y'all to think about a person of any race, being black, Asian, or white. Right? When I say what I'm about to say.
Yeah, you're right.
Now, think about all the races. Now, I want you to separate those from ethnicities, and I want you to think about people that are of Middle Eastern descent and so forth. And so
I'm thinking Indians, like straight from India. They be
right
dark.
now. But listen, let me explain something to you. Here, when you see a person of color, and when I say of color, I'm not talking about the Arabs. I'm not talking about the Middle Eastern. I'm talking about us. And if our hair is not what is the expectation of kinky hair, you either got to be mixed with something, you're exotic, or you're some other shit. Your hair could, and think about Ethiopians. They're African as fuck. But they have a more of a Middle Eastern type of black in their skin. They have a different type of texture.
So many thousands of years, they not even really. If it don't shoot straight up and it fall down after what? Hey, man, hold on.
But you know what I'm saying? So we're not really judged based on our complexion. Because if you find a woman that's black as night and she has Arabic looking hair, or if her hair is bone straight, she could be black as fuck.
Okay, a good example of that. The girl on Love It, Amara, she's the Cuban girl.
Amara La Negra, the girl from Dominican Republic. Yeah.
A lot of Cubans got a little whitewashing going on where they don't kind of realize, because look what Castro said about y'all history. So they be trying to go around that.
Listen, I fight with people about Castro. I really do, because I'm like, y'all do not realize how pro-black this man was.
Yes.
This man spent a lot of time in Harlem. This man spent a lot of time in black communities. Fidel laid on the floor with slaves growing up. His daddy's mistress was a black woman. Let me explain to you why. Because back then, he couldn't legally and righteously divorce the mother. Divorce was different back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't all done willy-nilly and shit like how, bitch, I don't like you, I want a divorce.
Especially for Catholic countries.
Yes. So divorce was not some shit you could just go and do. No. So Fidel was raised with slaves. He was, and so when you look at, I want you to look at who calls that country a communist. Look at where all of this comes
from. We already know what happened with that.
We already know where it comes from.
That's a whole, but more than what he did, the statements he made was so much powerful, because nobody else is making those statements as a dictator, saying, no, we come from this and these were the people.
Yeah.
That's like, whoa, you can't. Can't dispute that.
And that's why, if you look at Cuba got heavy African roots, bro.
Oh yeah,
they got heavy. When you go to, and when people say, oh, they only think of white Cubans, those are the motherfuckers that fled here.
Ricky Ricardo's who they
the girl,
Ricky Ricardo, people.
The Negra girl, she don't think she African, and it's like
she's
you got a
Dominican.
whole
Amara La
afro.
Negra. Yeah, she's
You
Dominican.
but no, she'll say, listen, I'm Dominican, but you don't realize you're African more than Dominican. That was
What
Hispaniola. So the name just changed. It was Hispaniola. It's
what it
African,
does,
and it's
and what
whole
happened?
Afro.
Yeah.
It's like you get that without having African roots.
So here's what has happened in Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic is an 80% black country, right? And I'm just throwing a number out there, so just to say that they're majority of a black country.
Mm-hmm.
In DR, they don't praise you being dark, and I'm going to get into why.
White folk got the power.
Dominican Republic's issues have a lot to do with Haiti, the first Haitian president, and so forth. So when they became a people, before they became the Republic of Dominican, they were treated unfairly. So the President Trujillo, who was the first Dominican president, who was also mulatto, as most typical motherfuckers, I don't want to have nothing to do with being black. I'm hurt. Y'all hurt my feelings. Y'all treated me bad. So look, we're going to whitewash all this shit. And that's what he did in DR. So a lot of those statues, you go to Haiti versus Dominican Republic, the statues look totally different. They completely got rid of anything that had anything to do with black culture. And the way they treat Haitians over there is fucking deplorable now.
Yeah.
It's fucking deplorable. And I don't understand because...
And our country helps.
Yes.
Oh, our country definitely helps.
How do you not know you black, though? You're a black
You know why?
You're
you know
black.
Why? Culture, the same way it's like Mauritania, Africa, or where Nipsey and them come from. The Afghans have made it and whitewashed them so bad that you can't. But you can look at them and see it, but they be like, "No, I'm Afghan." But it's like, hold on, I understand how culture.
Egyptians too. Don't let them Egyptians slide.
Oh yeah.
They the worst.
All of them. I mean, a lot of African tribes.
All you gotta do is look at the walls in Egypt.
They are, because thousands of years of whitewashing to where they don't identify as African. It's more so their culture first. But let's do the DNA.
Yeah. So
let's just look at the damn hieroglyphics.
But so like
just look at the damn wall.
You don't even have to look at that. All you got to do is remember that before it was Egypt, it was called Kemet. And now you have to do is look at what Kemet in Egypt means. It means it's a city of black. It means black. It's the word. The word black is what translates. So here's a little piece of history that a lot of people don't know. And I want to say, I'm trying to remember. First of all, what is her name? Cleopatra. Mm-hmm. Cleopatra was Greek. She was not African. She was Macedonian.
And that wasn't pre-dynastic. That was dynastic. We was in power pre-dynastic. After the dynastic period, it was more whitewashing. You start seeing more people on them. So yeah, she was full on Greek. And let's be honest, that was Jewish.
Yeah, and so when I hear people upset about Elizabeth Taylor, why is Elizabeth playing Cleopatra?
The white Jews.
No, because baby Cleo wasn't black to begin with, right?
But we seen gods of Egypt. They're not gonna do it like that. We see how they gonna do it. They're not gonna do it.
And so here's the other thing, like, so that's why
hell, we saw Moses.
Nubia. When you go back to real ancient Egypt, they were Nubians. They were black. The people of Kemet were dark. They didn't look Arabic. They didn't look any of that. So when you hear these I call them Arabics. That's what the fuck they look like to me.
They're Persian, really.
Yeah.
Yes.
Persian.
And Turkey is modern day Persia.
Yeah.
In case y'all don't know.
Right.
So when you look at them, they're not African.
They were the first ones to enslave. They did 1,000 years before and longer before the Spaniard and the Anglo got us. You know what I'm saying? The Ottoman Empire was big before, it was long way before, and it was powerful. It was real powerful. We don't realize, so we gonna take it towards Anglos. We got to get them the same amount of responsibility because they did it and taught the Spaniard.
I mean, and you can't. That's undeniable history right there, because that was how Egypt was built, was on the backs of the slaves.
Yes.
And then as time went on, the slaves started to look a little different. They became darker and darker.
Yeah.
And
listen. I don't like to identify that because I don't think they any race or people was built to make that. I think they were dealing with different elements. They knew how to manipulate. I don't think they used a slave race to build anything.
I think they did, but I get what you're saying. To some degree, yes. I do believe some of our pyramids, and that's another conversation people aren't ready for.
I mean, because those things are
different
huge.
elements. We're talking about up there, in
Yeah.
the outer world.
How it's cut and look how big it is. There's no way humans
There's no way a human could have dragged
Okay, so
that
yes,
brick.
and in that aspect, the precision cuts of the bricks for the pyramids, yes. But I do believe that man had something to do with some of the structures. So yes, with the pyramids, I could see that because they were very precisely cut.
And we can do that now with machinery.
Still can't.
Their mathematics, they were far more advanced. I think this world, let me refer this world specifically, because we all know my beliefs are out there anyway. I think in this world specifically, technology was at its height during that time. And I don't think we'll ever have that, they had
and
then.
why we're not is because the more primitive it is, the more technology it is. The more technology you add, the more we disintegrate. We think we're modern technology. No, primitive, dealing with the elements. If you know how to manipulate water, you know how to manipulate stone. You know how to manipulate land. You know how to manipulate air. It runs hand in hand because they understood the system. If you increase water to a certain frequency, it'll cut anything.
Yeah.
So you don't need 1,000 people to do a job. There's something that you can just manipulate the elements. Point blank.
I mean, they told us, like she said, in the hieroglyphics. We know that higher beings were involved.
Oh yeah.
They told us. They blatantly left it on the writings in the literal sense of the word, writings on the walls.
The Greeks are the ones who quote unquote translated the metaneta. I don't think they had the keys to translate, because we didn't pass it down. Who translated it for us? Then you got to see who was that, who did that. Nah, we can't trust your word, and you don't know that.
So I agree with that also. Since the beginning of times, I mean, you have to look at our translations of things now is being relied on Caucasian scholars.
Of course.
I mean, that's what I mean.
Yeah, but you see the sun, you see people bowing, you see brown people.
No, I like to add perspective, because not even that. You'll have a scientist who will do that, but who is he funded by? Then you'll find out who funded that excursion, and it's like, oh, no, we can't trust you. More importantly, the scholars I follow, they said the metaneta, which is the hieroglyphics, has never been translated because we never had a Rosetta Stone. Now they found certain pieces here and there, but for Anglo-Saxon or a Greek to tell me that he translated the metaneta,
I don't believe that.
I'm like, okay,
no, I don't believe that.
I don't think any. You got to remember, you're not talking to people of color in the fucking the 1700s. We're far more advanced now. Well, yes and no. Let me be careful how I say that. We have more access to books now for those that were ignorant, that you can't just tell us anything now.
Right.
Once you brought us over here and you disconnected us from our other teachings and our original scholars,
now
it made us dumb. It made us dumb again. And then we had to relearn.
What fucked it up is they made knowledge of freedom of information public to anybody. That's what fucked them up.
Oh yeah.
Because now we can go and fact check who said that. Okay, for example, who said that dinosaurs were real? Who funded that excursion to go excavate them bones? Then you start connecting dots. Like, look, that's a damn lie. That's a lie. That's a lie. Conflict of interest sometimes will be like, that's a lie.
You know what this reminds me of, what he just said? So I just found out that, do y'all know who, this shit funny.
Go there, Dutch.
Who do y'all think is the King James, who has the copyrights to the King James version?
Come on, look, I was about to, listen, God don't write copyrights. Who owned the copyright to the Bible? Then you just connect the dots.
Queen Elizabeth, the royal family.
I figured.
So when you think about what he's saying, you have to, again,
So the Church of England. The Church
by
of
conflict of
England.
interest, you're the one who owned the right. Mason, I gotta say, hold on.
That's why it's called his story.
Right.
You got to look into like the Christian Crusades and all that shit. You got to look at all
of it. The Knights
all
of
of that.
About the Knights Templar.
Everything. You got to look at all of it.
I was watching something the other day and I got mad and I stopped watching the shit. So I was actually watching. So all this is done. This is all Egyptian. Everything. I believe in the number 3 because the number 3 is the beginning. And you have something after you have like a problem. There has to be an answer. And then that answer equals the solution. So the number 3 is a very powerful number. It's a very spiritual number. It's the beginning is 1 and the end is 3.
It's 3, 6, and 9. You right, because that's what Tesla operated off of.
Yes.
Right.
So when you know these type of things, me knowing what I know, there's certain shit you can't say to me. So anything that has to do with outer space and all of that is my particular realm, right? I just ain't got my alien tattoo yet. I can't wait for that. I say that to say this. I'm listening to them go into details about the number 3 stuff that I already know. And I'm listening to them talk about Egypt and so forth. And then they start quoting shit out the Christian Bible. Man, I turned that shit off.
Wow.
Because they were speaking so eloquently. And if you didn't know any better.
And then they fucked it up.
If you wasn't on your shit, Dutch, it'll catch you some. It'll
yeah.
Too late. Like, hold on.
Subliminal. Yeah.
First of all, this shit don't even historically. You understand what I'm saying?
1 + 1 ain't equaling 2.
You can't even have at the time frame that they were given, right? Now we already know that one is a parody of the other. Okay, we already know that. The time frame that they were giving and even the bare mention of one in the sentence of the other, shit made no sense. So I stopped watching it. So I clicked on some other shit. And halfway through, and they talking good shit. And halfway through, they do the same shit. They figure out a way to slide the fake made up shit. Well, stolen. Because now it's no longer fake or made up. Because once it becomes a thing amongst the masses make it real.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at it. Yeah, you can take anything that's bullshit. And if you get enough motherfuckers to say that it's real, guess what? It now becomes real.
But that concept right there,
look at Hitler.
That concept right there, what she just said, is so fucking
is a motherfucker, ain't it?
We can go from religion to they sell pet rocks. You know that?
Yeah.
They sell pet rocks.
They sell fucking pet rocks. And some kid is buying a fucking pet rock. Or some parent is buying a pet rock for a kid. Now, I think it's funny as fuck. And I would have bought one for my kid.
Rock to a community, to a country, you can sell you can sell anything to anybody.
Nah, fuck that. It's a lady selling farts in a jar. But y'all heard about it. It's a lady selling farts in a fucking jar. At top dollar. No, I'm not. No, the fuck.
Wait. I need to get in on that business.
Hold on. I'm about to. Lady sells farts in a jar.
I need to get in on that.
See, but that's just a simps or
a TikToker made 200,000 farting in jars. Here's how she did it. If you don't believe me, let me put this shit. Yeah, there you go. Right there.
Wow.
Believe it.
There you go. Right there.
That's some crazy shit.
So to go to what you said, now, do you hear how stupid that sounds? Do y'all hear how asinine? A rock is fucked up. But a fart? A motherfucker sold you some air out of their ass.
Well, at least
but wait. Maybe if she farted in the jar. How do you know she really farted in the jar?
Y'all not man. At least you get something out of that. What do you get out of a pet rock?
A pet?
You can hold it. You can see it. When you open the jar, I can rub my rock. Shit.
Hey, when you
get old enough,
give her a pet rock. Give her a pet rock. See what happens. Don't leave that pet rock, baby. This is how we train you for a puppy.
Hold it. She right.
How do you take care of this pet rock before you get a real puppy?
Listen, if my pet rock falls on the floor, I would hear it and I would be like, oh shit, my pet rock. If my fart jar breaks, bruh, how am I gonna know where to pick the farts up? See, but we can't
blame her. We gotta blame the market. It's so many dudes who willing to buy farts out of a can.
Apparently, it's a lot of motherfuckers that's willing to buy rocks too. So basically, society is fucked up. Y'all,
look at Supreme.
You can get your pet rock at our Amazon store coming soon.
Look at Supreme. Supreme proves that they can make and do anything, and people will buy.
Yeah, the motherfucker farted in a jar.
That's different. That's different.
But it's not even that if she'd have made 10 grand, I'd have been amazed.
But how
She
about this?
made the first, she made more afterwards. That was the initial, what she first initially made. 200,000. We don't even know if she really did it or not.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know if she really
see
farted
it.
in a jar.
So
She could have had everybody in the house farting in a
But
jar.
what she fucked up at is if a dude, them type of dudes, if they like it, they will stalk you. She just don't know what kind of can literally she opened by putting out a can of farts, because there's some creep weirdos out here be like, I liked it. Where's she at and where's more?
Did
Oh
you
my
say
God.
she don't know what kind of can she? No pun intended, y'all.
No pun intended.
People stocking her for her farts. Jeez Louise.
No, but you gotta think, because it's people that are into a certain type of weirdness.
There are fetishes out
when
there.
they find somebody that will cater to
fetish.
that fucking weird shit that they like, I gotta have that.
Well, I'm weird
Nobody
too.
else did
We
this.
all,
Yeah, we all got our own shit. You know, I like a man.
Yeah, man.
I ain't too below the can fart now. Hold on. It's right here. I'm kind of right there.
You teetering, huh? Depending on how the level is leaning, you may.
Listen. Let me. Listen.
I ain't proud.
I just need to know you're alive, baby. Fart for me.
Listen, it's not the dude that's buying it that's wigging me out. Because guys, y'all just do weird shit anyway.
But who the fuck thought of this shit?
Who told you to
Good business
put
person.
your naked ass with a jar to your ass? Who told you to do that? So now I'm
and all she has to do is replay the same
But
video.
you know
farting
it was
and
her
who said it was naked?
Her homegirl said, "Girl, you got all these dudes gawking over you. Why don't you just?" Because the simp culture has taken over to where dudes will do anything just to have a piece of, feel like they have a part of her. She like, girl, you can sell these dumb.
I need to start spraying scents in a jar and screwing that motherfucker and be like,
FBG Duck Mama just got on OnlyFans and showed her feet and made $35,000.
You know, Lunel is on OnlyFans too, y'all. Just FYI, Lunel got her ass on OnlyFans. There's an old lady with her sister.
You talking about the comedian, right?
Yeah.
Yes, I am. Bald-headed ass Lunel. Yes, I am. There's also
shit. Do your thing, Lunel. Do your thing.
There's a grandma. Her name is Granny Go Dumb.
I seen her.
Where you see her?
Listen.
As soon as he said I see her, you ain't see me pause for a second.
Listen, I do not have OnlyFans because I would never do that. That would go against my thing. But it's other ways to come across this. And
I don't know about OnlyFans because so I'm not on OnlyFans. I don't have an OnlyFans. I don't even know how the fuck OnlyFans works.
I would never.
But I definitely see her on IG. That's where I saw her at. And she's got a sister named Miss Josephine. Granny Go Dumb.
I kind of like it.
See, that was that fart jar, the here that we was talking about.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go to sleep.
Jar right there. I'm right here.
Go to sleep.
So, I gotta know what Granny Go Dumb does now. Do I have to
Granny Go Dumb? She's a grandma, but she got a big old dump. She got a dude.
She cooking in
wrong with Granny having a big booty?
Granny be twerking that thing on IG, dog.
What's wrong with Granny getting her twerk on?
Nothing.
I don't want to see it on IG. It's not even just her. I don't want to see I'm desensitized from seeing the shit on IG because damn, bruh, you used to have to.
Frank dead.
He cut about some Frank. Hey, Frank. He said I'm dead.
You know, hold on.
Lunel something else, boy.
And aspect of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on. That's why can is right here. I'm right here. I ain't too below the can, Frank. You know, so.
Hey man, fuck that. Hey, Granny, get your dunk thong, shake your ass, girl.
It does.
I'm not mad at her for doing it. I feel like
you saying what happened to being graceful?
Yeah, man.
That's
like
dead.
I guess, and that's what make me old fashioned. Cause
Grandma getting paid for shaking her ass,
but it's not.
Grandma,
but I don't want to see
I
don't want to see old bras do it. I don't even want to see young.
But they're competing.
But Granny ain't gotta work. Scroll past, honey. Scroll past.
Reels and skits. To me, they're taking the personality out of things. Everybody's doing the same robots reel and skit. And they're the same skits that the 20-year-old girls is doing. I see some of the silver hair women, which is not a problem because I like it, but it's like they're doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's no more age gap. It's like if you look good and you gotta, you know what, it's like go on here and do this. It's like, hold on, what happened to being graceful at this? Like, that's just more appealing, but it's microwave society, quick and easy.
Hey, man.
I I couldn't. I
Right?
guess
All
me.
the time about-
I ain't gonna never be rich like that. I guess because I cannot degrade myself for no coin. I just can't. I can't. And to me, it's degrading. That's just my opinion.
See,
I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I can't shake my ass with no. I can't even do it with no little ass boy shorts, in hopes that likes will get me paid.
oh no.
Well, not even just that. I can't do them ridiculous ass skits either. I can't.
It's
Yeah,
robotic.
them skits
It's
be getting on my
robotic.
nerves.
It's like everybody's doing the same, and it's like it's not even your voice. It's the voice of the original shit that they're just dubbing over and reenacting. And it's like, what is
Oh
this?
God.
It's
Yeah, I can't.
weird.
So all creativity is gone. You know
It's
when all
done.
creativity left? When Beyonce's Single Ladies, once that hit the internet and everybody started doing the Single Ladies dance.
Oh, the
And then it was,
challenge shit.
yeah, and then it just went.
Oh
It
no!
just went.
What about the ice water bucket?
The ice water bucket too. Yeah, all that shit.
What
Everybody
about
just nobody became themselves anymore. They had to follow the leader. Nobody wants to be an individual anymore.
The
But
trend.
look,
what about the crates and shit? I'm
Come
not
on,
climbing on no damn crates.
some of
Yeah,
the
they were trying to
age limit.
do what now?
but wait, with the ice water challenge though, wasn't that I did mine for charity? If I'm
It
being
was for
honest.
charity, but at what point do you get out of charity by dumping water in your head and posting it on social media? Where is that charity going?
I sent my money in. I did.
They wasn't doing that. They were just recording, dumping water
I
on
sent my money in. I
it.
mean, and after a while, I got tired because I was doing like $10 for all my friends, and then I was like, "There's too many of y'all motherfuckers." So after I got to about $100, I was like,
But
"Okay."
you know, as Virgos, we be peeping shit that the average person to take them a minute. And I'll be like, do y'all see what's going on here? Like,
Yeah. I mean, $100 to charity. I mean, it was a write off. I'm cool with it.
I'm not doing no challenge.
No. I mean, after that shit was cool. But you know, it was kind of like everybody did it, and yeah, I kind of followed the
I
leader.
did the book challenge. That was it.
The book challenge.
The book collection challenge.
What kind of book?
Lord Jamar started a book collection challenge. Like post your book instead of putting the money to your ear, put your books. You know, the books that you done read in your collection.
Oh, I
Back
like that.
in 2013.
I've done one.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm just not challenges, and I was like the last person that did it when they did the red light challenge. But my red light challenge, it looked like
a red light challenge.
Like you just regular, and then the lights go out.
Yeah,
Back, red light on. You had some chicks was doing like the most. My shit was super classy though. I kept it classy. It was,
well, we know why I didn't do it.
That's what just play. That silhouette challenge. I did the silhouette challenge.
Oh, the silhouette challenge. Okay.
Yeah, that was dope.
Yeah, my first and only was the ice bucket, and I was finished with it. I wasn't doing no more fucking challenges. I was done.
Hey, so y'all ain't do the June bug and none of that?
I ain't do none of that shit. I did the ice bucket, donated my money, and I was finished with it.
I feel like it didn't have to be, I guess, as sexy as it was. Like, it was still sexy, but I ain't no wild ass bend over all in the camera and
oh no, you can still be classy and sexy at the same time.
So that was the reason why I.
But you know what? Some dudes want to see a big kick, or some dudes want to see people shaking their ass, and I am cool with that.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't want to see.
I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it at all. I just feel like it used to be something that you could actually get something from if you were a guy or a girl. Now, I wouldn't. If I was a dude, what the fuck I'm going to a strip club for? I'll go set up my phone, my iPad, and I'll sit right here and throw dollars at my screen because all you gotta do is log on to IG.
For real.
For one, I'm not.
And you ain't even got to put no money out.
For one, that's a lot. That's done.
Yeah.
If I just want that experience, I can make that happen.
I'll go pick my shit up off the floor, do it all over again later.
That's tricking where I come from.
Lord have mercy.
If you got it.
What's
Not
up, guys? Look,
even ever. There's no such thing as too much money.
never, never. I take
Got
pennies. I take whatever you got. I take it all. It all spins. So look, Frank said, "I hate to be the devil's advocate, but I see it as another way to belittle and degrade and oppress us." And he's right. Because that's what they show on the evening news, right? That's who they're showing. They're showing
But
Granny out
Frank, but
there.
Frank, think about this though. Are they oppressing us when they volunteer to do it?
No, no, no. Granny trying to get paid. Or get a tattoo on my forehead for my views.
You got people doing all that shit though right now.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And in 1922, with the burning of Black Wall Street, Reaganomics, Jim Crow, then the internet, all designed. Hell yeah.
Facts.
It's progressive. It's definitely a progressive brainwashing. The difference is back then, they had to work, they had to lay the groundwork for it, and now they don't have to do anything.
They ain't got to do shit.
But it's keep it in black and white. That's black and white is a paradigm that we stuck in. When people realize it's bigger and deeper than that, sometimes it's late.
Facts.
Well, racism is the best way to control everything because it takes your mind off all the other shit that's going on. All the shit. Like,
Divide and Conquer is so old but so effective. If you look nowadays, it's so like, but we don't champion people like DC Young Fly, who when they came to him with that offer, he said, "No, I'm not doing that. That's my shit, and I'm rocking with him."
Yeah.
That was divide and conquer right there.
Yeah.
We don't celebrate it.
If we would have been paying attention to a lot of we're not even paying attention. If we weren't consumed with race issue, we know that they was trying to mass kill us.
It's hard though, because I come from that, being locked in that paradigm.
So I think a lot of people do.
I'm still locked in the paradigm.
Me too.
I still get caught up in it. I still get caught up in it. But yeah, we missed the big picture. We definitely missed the big picture. Like Frank was saying, they trying to pass a law for slavery in Nevada.
Now, what Frank was talking about,
see here that slavery was a choice, and people were mad.
But it just hit me last year what he meant by that.
Yeah,
I was driving. I'm like, oh, I see what it is a choice. It is a choice.
And it went over so many people's heads.
It went over my head. Went over
a lot of heads. So and I remember when me and her, when it first happened, this was like 2 years ago, he said, and we were talking about it. Yeah. And we had agreed with him when it was said, because here was the thing. If Harriet said, "Fuck y'all," I'm getting the fuck on. And I'm trying to say this. That was a choice. She chose to look, I'm either stay or I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get stuck one way or another. But it's a choice to stay.
A lot of people decided to jump off the boat before it even docked.
So people are looking at, it's not a choice. No, you're looking at it not being a choice because your options are fucked up.
Yeah, but your options. Yeah,
it's not. It's their options are fucked up. Along with this, they are subservient by nature.
Yes.
Subservient or docile. Yes. They are easy because once they sell you
the word beta and not alpha.
Because what does freedom mean to you? What the fuck does your freedom mean?
Once they sold your child, separated you from your family, that was your choice right there.
Yeah.
You became a product. You was docile. You became a product. But it's people who said, "I'm not becoming no product." There's
a lot of people that ran. They don't want you to know that, but there are tons of people that are free that ran to Canada, that ran up north. A lot of people ran. They want you to think it's a small minority, but it was a huge group of people that said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out."
Yeah. And the reason why they don't want you to know that is because, again, it's like what happened in Haiti. The last thing that they need is this spreading like wildfire that we can band together and tear y'all shit up. And that's essentially what happens when we stop thinking about self-preservation. Because that's what it is. They took my child. They took my husband. Fuck, I got to figure out a way to survive. You want to survive as a slave because you don't want to die. That's self-preservation. That's a choice. That's a choice you made. What did old boy say? Give me liberty or give me death.
Facts.
You know, die. He'd rather
I'd rather die than be that. I'd rather die. And he said it in
than a slave on my knees. You have to make a decision on what you feel is right for you. And if being subservient is what's right for you, by all means, take your ass out.
Be subservient.
My black ass. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna have to shoot me, and
you're gonna have to fuck me up.
Because we shit as fuck. We ain't going.
A good example of that is the reason why we couldn't beat Afghanistan, because they wasn't scared to die. They had a choice. Listen, there ain't no choice with this. We're dying behind this. 20 years later.
As a person that was over there,
we're fighting with them. Yeah.
They fought with the belief of God on their side.
Yeah.
Our people went up there and it was like, this is a paycheck. They fought, this was a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you gotta think it takes a certain type of belief system to strap a bomb to your chest and know. They know
you're gonna die.
That they're not coming back. They know they're not coming back. That is a choice.
They said goodbye to everybody. They already do.
That was not wrong. What a lot of shit people listen to, they don't like the messenger.
Yeah.
It fucks up the message because you don't like the messenger. When people start removing the messenger and start listening to the fucking message.
You would do that?
No, I got
Oh.
All right, wait till I'm finished then.
You know. So,
yeah. Fuck the messenger.
Hey, them Afghans, they laid the blueprint to what to do when you don't want to be oppressed or you don't want nothing. It's a story that popped up. A reporter went to Qatar for the World Cup. His brother is gay, which I don't have a problem with, but he went over there with that shirt representing it, and it's like, bro, do you know where you at?
Like, for real?
Do you think they care about your democracy and your beliefs? He ended up dead over there.
But here's the thing. Now, that's some hypocritical shit, and I'm going to tell you straight up, as a person that was over there, they prefer men.
Yeah. No,
so,
listen,
like, be who you going to be, man.
Listen, we know why the women don't pray in the masjid sometimes. Look, that's a deep, dark secret that don't come out, that they mess with a lot of them other boys there.
Oh, no, they rape them little boys.
But in society, they will not let that on the street.
Nope.
They will not let that. And Mexico got the same little issue.
Even though we all know it.
Not even talking about the men that are willing, because that's the part of society, of their society they don't want. They would rather us only know about boys having being dehumanized, because that's really taking your humanity when you rape somebody. You take it, male or female, you just throw somebody a piece of their humanity. Notice how you never really hear about the willing participants that are males, but you'll hear about women dancing in public. A man and a woman just got sentenced to like 10, 15 years or some shit like that in prison, because women are not allowed to dance, let alone with a man, let alone in public.
But a boy, for men.
But listen, they're willing. It might be right or wrong.
That's a regular party.
We gonna die behind this. Ain't none of that over here.
Yep.
Nah.
If it is, y'all motherfuckers.
I should have told him what kind of culture that was over there before he went over there with that, because they don't necessarily play all that.
No, they don't play that shit at all. Man, you could go to jail for a very long time for having a drink.
You'll be lucky if you go to jail.
Yeah, for a drink. And the men over there, it's martial law. Like, women, for just speaking to a man that their parents or people haven't approved of, they could be stoned by the whole village. India
got a big problem with that too. Mexico. There's a lot of lawlessness with that, you know.
Yeah.
Listen, India fucked up.
Yeah.
India, Bangladesh is real fucked up. Prostitution in India is so fucked up over there, because if you are a prostitute, and here's what's so fucked up about it. Let's just say your mama was a prostitute. She got sold when she was real young, and she has a child. By law now, your child has the same parts.
Yep. It's a caste system there.
It's a caste system, yeah.
Now play.
No, and it's like that. It doesn't matter. It's like that, and
it was on.
You can try to ask condoms, but sometimes you can't force them to wear condoms. They have a lot of diseases and shit in that particular area of Bangladesh. It
was a dude on 90 Day fiance married abroad, and he was married already in India, and he was trying to, his wife, his mother and father-in-law was on him like a hawk. Like, bro, We can have you arrested. We can have you killed behind this, bro. You over here messing with this Anglo woman. He was scared. Like
As he,
he did not want to go back to his family because he knew what was gonna happen if he did.
well,
Wow.
they when they find out that you're doing certain shit here, because they'll come get your ass and take you back. That a lot of times they do not want to. A lot of the Middle Eastern countries and I think East Indian countries, they're real funny culturally, but it's the same thing. Japan, y'all know Japan. The Japanese, they don't fuck with Chinese, and the Koreans don't fuck with the
No.
because
They're
Japan, they,
Anglos of Asia.
yeah, they and also the Philippines. They look at the Philippines. The Japs look at the Philippines like the dogs of Asia,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and they really hate the Chinese. But they would much rather, if they had to, you marry somebody Chinese than the Philippines. But for them to be such a docile country, the Japs used to be some ain't shit motherfuckers.
They
Now,
still,
I live here in Hawaii. This is just the tip of the iceberg of some
But
of the
who you
shit.
think they learned it from though?
they white
China,
counterparts.
China was oppressing them for a long time before they got it from up under them.
I was getting
Yeah.
ready. Didn't China
Yeah.
like
China had their foot
But
on their
China got
back.
a problem with if you're not mainland, anything not mainland China, they look down on you.
Yeah.
Look at the type of problem
Hong
they
Kong?
you
Hong
know,
Kong don't them either. They got a they mainland China and Hong Kong got a big thing, and they'd like to keep it separate. One is considered the past, and one is considered the future.
Mandarin versus Cantonese.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh shit going on.
Yeah.
and yeah, China's real fucked up. But the Chinese, they did the same shit to the Koreans. They went over to Korea, tried to change their flag. They were raping their women. They were snatching their women up, taking. So Koreans now to this day, they don't fuck with the China. They don't fuck with the Japs like that.
Yeah.
Japanese have done a lot of fuck shit, and
We,
I
we
know
got
that.
fucked up thinking it's about black and white, not knowing no, this happens everywhere in
Everywhere.
the world. Don't
Yeah,
get caught up in that black and white shit. It's classism and this person thinking that they're better than you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes they got the power to rule you.
Yeah.
look at. Here's what happens with the Asians.
Greeks, the Romans, all this shit.
Asians
All
know
of
that they have their own problems amongst each other, but nobody likes the blacks. So we're gonna use you guys as a scapegoat, and oftentimes we become the scapegoat. It's always perpetuated that we're the most hated, but when you really start breaking down the problems in the Middle East with the Arabs, like the turbans tell you different things about their religion. They have a lot of religious warfare over there. Their problem is,
Oh yeah.
You talking about the Saudis, the Shiites?
The
yeah,
Shia. Yep.
they have a lot of religious issues that are worse than race issues.
The
They're still,
Sunni versus
yeah,
the other Arab. Yeah.
so it's every place has its. I mean, shit.
Pashtun.
Jews still can't fucking stand Germans. Pretty sure of that. You know, there's gonna be some Jews that's gonna always hate fucking Germans or Germany, and they, like with some of us, hey, we know your granddaddy didn't own no slaves, but still, we know you didn't directly own, and I'm pretty sure that's how some of the Jews feel. Yeah, we know you weren't directly related to Hitler, but we still ain't fucking with you.
We'll ask a Palestinian how they feel about Jews.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, damn, that's deep, dog.
And let's be clear when we say Jews, let's talk
They
about
talk
the
about that
classification
word all the
of
time,
Jews.
right? But since
The Israelites versus
1948,
the Jews,
Well,
the original Jews.
classify the word Jewish and Jew, the Judeo religion. That's a whole nother conversation.
That's what I'm saying. Let's be clear. The
Yeah.
new Jew versus the original Jews.
Well, we're not even talking about the originals. We can't even.
the originals are the Greece. They come from Greece. The oldest synagogue is in Greece. So that lets you know right there where they boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
And it lets you know who killed Jesus in the book. The Romans. Who were the Romans? The Greeks.
Yeah.
The Greeks.
Yeah.
It's the
And there was some African group
The Israelites.
Romans. No.
Oh,
Starts with an E because they're the ones that were bringing pasta over. Pasta is not an Italian thing; it's African. I didn't know
you
that.
talking about the not the E-way. The E-way?
No, it looks fuck. What is that? It's EU some shit. But they were the original Africans that were taking pasta over there. It predates Rome, and then over time it became an Italian thing. So we know pasta for being Italian and spaghetti and shit. But have you ever wondered how come you see Haitians make spaghetti? How come you see different cultures make spaghetti? And I didn't understand that at first. Dominicans got their own version of spaghetti, and then I found out.
Spaghetti is just sauce and noodles. We put the meat and all the extra shit in there. They shit is simple, just sauce and noodles and.
Yeah, well, it originally pasta is an African thing, and then some of the Middle Eastern traders, some Arabs also, and I'm referring to not Middle Eastern traders, Arabs, not Arabs from the Middle East though, African Arabs were actually going to trade, doing merchant work and as being
Something
merchants
like the
trade.
Silk Road.
Yeah, that's how the pasta ended up over there. They were taking dried pasta over there with them and so forth. So a lot of shit has really been completely whitewashed and changed to the fact of fuck, we thought pasta was Italian for years.
No.
Rice
There's a lot of shit that we don't know.
is not rice is African.
Even this though, Mexicans try to be on do black. Listen, we taught y'all how to cultivate the earth. We predate Mayan, Aztec, all that. We y'all think y'all learned it from.
Mm.
Then they try to be so high and mighty, and it's like, listen, bro, stop. You don't even speak your indigenous language. You're not a Spaniard.
That's facts.
You
That's
know,
facts.
you don't come
And
from.
the Portuguese right now, they're really trying to hide their hands. Um, the Dutch, the Dutch have did a good job of hiding, but the Dutch had a very big part in slavery.
Come on, man.
Huge,
Oh yeah.
huge part in slavery. And you don't really hear much about the Dutch. We constantly hear things about England and so forth. And
That's because niggas don't know their history. Like New York was the Dutch. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Newfoundland.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so it's like they don't do their history and understand.
you are Virgo in tonight too, boys.
Come on, man. Come on now. They don't understand.
That is fact. So we get stuck on not understanding. If you look at those of us that are here, North America, South America included, because I don't know why niggas only think that this shit happened in North America. So include all of the Americas, okay?
Yes.
This part of the hemisphere. There should be a trace of Irish, some kind of trace of Dutch, Scottish.
Scottish for sure.
Yeah, for sure Scottish, for sure Dutch and Irish. And I'm trying to think, I know I'm leaving one out. We know what the Portuguese and Spain kind of goes hand in hand. Like,
I mean, that's Brazil all day.
But people tend to forget all these other countries, and then everybody's pro Africa this, pro Africa that. And when I say that, I'm talking about the Africans. Isn't Ethiopia the only place? And I think even they were occupied for like 6 months or some shit by was it France? Most of Africa has been fucking colonized, and I'm trying to understand.
The only place that hasn't been is Ethiopia.
But that's even they occupied for 6 months.
They got it too because they're more Islamic.
Yeah,
but they got it more from the Italians, Italy, Mussolini and them.
Shit, it's still white though, ain't
it?
Huh?
White is still white though, ain't it?
White is white.
Italian, Caucasian, same shit.
I mean, colonizer.
You know, but yeah, even with them, like I think we praise Ethiopia for being one of the ones that still have some of their oldest traditional practices and cultural beliefs. However, and they're still, I think they still go by the original calendar. I think we're the only ones now. Everywhere else in the world is using the Gregorian calendar. But
the Dogon have a different one too.
Who has another one?
The Dogon tribe.
Do they? Okay. So
yeah.
I want to say it's the year 2014 in Ethiopia or some shit like that right now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's 2014 right now in Ethiopia because of the way the original calendar.
Right.
People look at that, and again, like you said, motherfuckers don't know the history. You hear little pieces of that, and you're like, oh shit, well, right on. They still got that. No, the motherfuckers occupied too. They were occupied.
The word Ethiopia is a Greek word. It wasn't even called that. That's a Greek. It means burnt faces. Why would the people of the land call themselves burnt faces? That's somebody describing a people.
Fact.
So and they got that in their nation's name. So that lets you know.
that I've learned over the years, our perception on what people used to look like back then when we discuss it, we think of people being pale faced. And I don't think a lot of people realize how dark Romans and Greeks and all people
Mm-hmm.
were closer to, people were not so far removed from their African genes, if that
It
makes
was hot. I mean, shit, your
sense.
skin dead in the
What
sun.
they look like now in Italy and in Greece versus what they looked like 300 years ago.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It doesn't look like, but
Yeah,
Well,
that
look at
all,
Australia. Look at Australia. That's a perfect example.
yeah,
yeah. The Aborigines right there.
them
They
motherfuckers
still
black.
right there.
Melanesians. The Melanesians is another one. Melanesia, they all look like us, but with blonde hair and blue eyes. But the difference is, it's a black people. They're Melanesian. Isn't it dope though? The name is Melanesian. They are our complexion, blue eyes, blonde hair. They look like Aboriginal. They look like they're the Aboriginal people from Australia, but they're not. They have nothing to do
Oh,
with
I
it.
know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I've
I know
seen them
exactly who you're
before.
talking
I've
about.
seen you before.
You know.
They kind of look like Neanderthals a little bit.
Hold on. Let me get. Hold on. I'm gonna pull them up for you.
And look, why you pulling those up? We got a lot of comments. Frank was going crazy on us for a minute, so he says,
Oh,
oh, go ahead.
people.
Right, right,
Yeah,
right.
yep.
Melanin people.
That's
They
crazy.
the difference is. Oh, I'll wait for you to.
No, go ahead, go ahead.
The difference is Caucasians that actually have blonde hair and blue eyes. That is a genetic mutation in them. Melanesians, as they have tested them with their blonde hair and blue eyes, is not a genetic mutation.
Well, how about the whole race is a recessive trait? So let's not even.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
we
let's
know
not
that.
even go there.
Okay,
Go
all
We
there.
right,
know
all right,
that.
Puget's
Without
table
all
tells
right.
you that. You learned that in the eighth grade.
survive. It's not possible. It's not humanly possible for them to survive without intermixing with us anyway. You take
Yeah.
them, put them on an island. I give it maybe 3 years tops without any of our DNA, and put them motherfuckers in the sun and let them survive 3 years. Melanoma is gonna be the first thing.
No, 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 no. I take that back. There are examples of that. They're called That's where the Moors first come from.
You
God
know what?
damn.
The Moors are black though.
No, no. Check this. The first Moor was white. Why you think they wrapping themselves? Listen, black people never in the history of the sun wrap themselves in the sun. Think about it. Them people who like them Kim Kardashians, the ones who rap, they're keeping themselves away from that sun. But people from the sun don't wrap themselves to keep themselves from the sun.
I've never ever in my life heard of a Moor. Never heard of a Moor of
Okay, they were called oh my goodness,
We
man,
learned
so
something
much.
new every day.
I'm
Listen,
doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
it's done lost me. It's done lost me. The
Oh, you
first
want to
one,
Google it real quick?
Make sure he's in the chat because I like reading about stuff like this because I'm gonna figure out what that name is of those people that predate. Uh,
um, mm, it's done left me. Normally I know the name. Normally I know the name. But those people are yeah. The first one, like for example, Farad, Islamic, the Nation of Islam.
they were
The
from
person,
Libya actually.
what's their
Arab.
names?
Pastor.
Damn, what's their name? I can't think of their name right now.
Enjoy today was introduced by Arab traders in Sicily during the 18th. Traders from North Africa would carry dried strands of durum wheat and water for substance during long voyages. And what is the name of those?
I forgot the name. It'll come to me eventually, but
So
the
basically,
original.
a lot of shit is from the old world, you know? And I think we have lost so much in translation with us trying to fight for what history is ours. And I think certain shit gets misplaced. And that could be why I never heard of a white Moor, but I remember once upon a time when I didn't know what a Moor was at some point in my life in general. You
Well, you
know,
got to understand, more comes from Turkey. Where is Turkey? They say Anglos come from.
didn't the Moors travel to Turkey though from Africa? The Moors
No, no,
traveled there.
no, no, no. The Moors was a slave race, right? That
Yeah.
was forced to be in the army, but originally their owners come from Turkey. in the Caucasus Mountains, and look where Turkey at. Right now, when you follow the Noah's Ark, where did Ark land in the Bible? On Mount Ararat. Where is that at? In Turkey. Now, when people talk about white people come from caves, you can research Cappadocia. Those are the caves, and right next.
I'm aware of like the mountains that they came from, and that's why when people talk about the natives here, and I'm like, y'all do know that they're not really indigenous to the natives that are indigenous to here are black, but that's another conversation people aren't ready for. Um, if you notice, the red man native here, their jaw structure is akin to Russian, and akin to their facial structure is the more of a, on the Caucasian.
Okay, now how about
Yep.
this? I tell people this all the time, and they fuck they Asian, a Asian, a Indian, and a Mexican are the same people. You check the hair, you check the structure. They're not hairy here. The hair structure and the height. They're never big, tall. And if you look at a Asian and an Indian hair texture, sometimes hair don't lie. You see the same thing. Now look at it. Now look at an Eskimo in Alaska. What
Oh
does that
yeah,
look like?
yeah,
A
straight
China
over because
person
it's right
from
there. It's
Asia.
only what 15
It
miles.
happened during the Ice Age. They crossed
Y'all know y'all know I call Guatemalan short Mexican.
okay, right.
They
You
call
remember
Guatemala
the Trail
short.
of Tears, right? When a lot of them
Yeah,
Indians was forced down to Mexico.
yeah,
That's the same people.
yeah.
They come from through Asia, through Alaska, down through America, down through
But
Mexico.
Exactly.
Pueblo houses, wigwams, and all that shit. You know, when you look at the history of the Mayans and the Azteca, or excuse me, Aztec Indians, for y'all that don't speak Spanish, Azteca is Aztec. So when you look at the Aztec and the Mayans, and you look at the actual heavy on air quote natives here, there isn't a lot of difference in how the mud houses were made,
Yeah,
the food that was made of corn.
a lot
Uh,
of maize. Yeah,
yeah, what's the stuff that they dip in the sopapilla? Oh no, you know say. But it's a lot of different stuff
The
that they,
Rosco Ponyo,
yeah, all of that. Hold up,
the
you
chicken
know what?
pastelito, the
Yeah, that
horchatas. The
yeah.
horchatas, that shit good. I know that.
Oh yeah, I put downstairs. But it goes back to the same thing when you look at Dominican and Puerto Rican food and African American. You look at
Damn.
empanadilla, but a beef patty in
yeah.
Jamaica.
That's
Just
a Jamaican beef patty. Yeah.
you look at you know, New Orleans they make gumbo, but in Africa it's something similar, but they eat the shit with their hands and with fufu and shit like that.
Yeah, fish stew. Yeah.
Fish, you know, fish stew. That's a Jamaican thing, not a Jamaican thing, but it's just going back to Africans. We eat a lot of roots,
Yeah.
yuca, sweet potato, a,
Cassava.
a lot, yeah, cassava, all that. We eat a lot of roots, and that has translated through the transatlantic slave trade in different communities as different foods. You know what I mean? And you will see it repetitively.
A yam is a sweet potato. Is a
But, but we're
well,
gonna.
they're two different things technically, but
Well, I'm gonna go further back. Before the continents were separated, when we were all one Pangea.
It wasn't humans around.
I don't know about that.
Mm-mm.
No humans during that Pangea. How
No,
is that
no.
possible?
Because I personally think chemically and biologically we were different thing. We weren't even. I don't think we're talking about millions of years ago. I don't think we was established as
I
a
don't.
form entity yet. Because listen,
If
we
you
have
look at
more.
science, maybe.
Listen, we have more of a relation to mushroom and fungus and bacteria than anything. So that lets you know that's what we was for the longest. All this other stuff has been
Yeah,
implemented.
but we're also six protons, six neutrons, six
Right, electrons.
electrons. Right? We're made up of stardust. Okay, like literally. So let me ask you a question. How can we be relatively close to a fish and relatively close to fungi and still make stardust at the same time?
And still what?
Be made up of stardust at the same time.
Okay, well listen, the star it ain't nothing but the carbon, which
Please
is the
log in to the
melanin,
Google Home app.
right? That is the foundation that holds you, but you still have biological genes in you, which like we have a reptilian brain. People don't know that. We have three parts and one of them is reptilian.
Mm.
So and we have But go look at the close representation between bacteria, humans, and fungus and mushrooms. It will surprise you how close we are. We
Mm.
are cousins.
I wouldn't be
Eh,
surprised, and I'm gonna tell you
I'm a
why.
fungus.
I seen
Yeah.
some shit when I was a kid, and this is why I don't trust doctors, because it's a practice. Medicine is a practice, which means I'm always changing.
Yeah.
You hear a doctor say uh, anything other than I practice medicine. Practice. So when you look at old science, I remember seeing something that said, and this was a science book. It was describing how close we were in relation to fish versus the fucking monkey. How we shared a certain amount of heart chambers that a fish would, as
Mm.
opposed to a monkey. Now, when I go and I look for this shit, I can't find it. But you know how you know you saw something and you know what you saw and you know what you read.
Yeah.
And I go back and I try to search. This was like old science books and shit like that, which I'm sure science has changed, obviously, since then. But I've never let go of what I read.
Mm.
And the reason why is because look in between your fingers. That's evolution. Your
Yeah,
fingers
the
will
webness.
why you have
Yeah.
the reason why your fingers get waterlogged when you're in the tub for too long is so you
Mhm.
can actually handle things underwater.
Mm.
It's so you can actually shit doesn't slip out of your hand. So you're waterlogged to adapt to water. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it makes you wonder. And if you look at us now, we can look at evolution within ourselves. Men Adam's apples are nowhere near as prominent as they were 30 or 40 years ago. You really
I
don't
don't
see
know. My shit's
apples that
stupid.
much. Yeah, how old are
He wearing it like a badge too.
You
but
You
know what
how
I'm
see
old
my
saying?
shit,
are
right?
you?
You see it? No.
Proud of it.
You see what I'm saying? But look at how old he is and what generation he's from. These
Yeah.
younger look for Adam's apple and tell me if you find.
Damn, that's crazy. Hold on. Nah, I can't be out here looking at niggas Adam's apples, but that's interesting.
No, but
That's
you know
interesting.
what? Don't. But look, just go Google random men. Google men of 2023. You ain't gonna
Mhm.
see no. You're not a prominent one.
Mm.
Too
That's
much
so.
estrogen.
You used
That's a good that's a great that's a good one right there. I never thought
Mm.
of that.
yeah. You used to be able to see that growing up, and that's how you could tell if a man was a tranny or not. His Adam's apple was a telltale sign. Back then, you didn't have to try to
Yeah,
figure out if
now you gotta look. Now you really
you
gotta look.
Nah,
because you
now you need a DNA.
yeah because there men used to have to get this shit shaved. A trans they used to have to get your
Mm.
actually
Mm.
be able to pass if you could afford that.
Could you
But
imagine the pain?
yeah, but
Oh.
think about it. Back in the day, before they were trannies, they were called cross dressers. They was fucking hermaphrodites and lady boys and all that shit. And how you could tell is if you looked at a nigga's neck. You looked at his neck, saw his Adam's apple, you knew Dave was a fucking boy. Now,
When
you
that
can't.
shit start changing, because that bride that was in Teddy Pendergrass's car did not look like a dude.
I think food has changed. You got to think it's
He
hormones. It's
said turn the lights off.
turn them off.
Hey, even the cop, because I watched the documentary, even the cop was like, she was fine. Oh,
He
that
said
was a he?
aggressively.
That's
But
crazy.
so that is what has changed. You look at yes, we are evolving. It's just not something that we look at or think about.
I don't think we are.
Yes, so look at our Adam's apples. Look at women. Women look a hell of a lot more masculine, and all these bitches ain't taking hormones to grow beards on their face. You understand? I just read something today that says Coke and Pepsi causes larger testicles and a higher amount of testosterone in men. A study just came out about that.
That's
So
a good thing I don't drink this shit.
another part of evolution, men's penises now are what is it, 40% larger than what they used to be. The average
That explains it.
4 inches
Oh, you know
now.
what? I seen that they said a lot of the plastics have a lot to do with that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, buddy.
The plastics and the
that,
hormones.
that's a good thing is what we're saying.
Get
It's a
yourself a younger man.
the size of a man's member is increasing too fast. It's evolution wise, it's too much too quick.
along with the sexual culture that we're in, over
Yeah.
sexual culture. You know what I'm saying?
We,
So
right now we're in an over-sexed culture, over-hyped and over-sexualized culture.
Crazy.
And I think hormones have something to do with that too. Again, evolution happens naturally over hundreds of years, but they have sped up evolution with all these fucking hormones. Ain't no
Yeah.
reason to
And
know
the
why
damn food.
girl who
You can
got.
grow a chicken in 42 days. You know something's fucked up with the food.
I mean, we started noticing it with our daughters when our daughters were developing breasts way too fucking young,
Heck yeah.
and we started noticing.
9-year-old with boobs the size of a grown woman.
And we started having kids starting to go through puberty way too soon.
Yeah.
That's hormones in the food. That's why I believe a lot of the. Why do women now look more masculine and men look more feminine? Why do women have
McDonald's.
voices now? Why are women have more testosterone and less estrogen now? Why are men having more estrogen?
you know that's an easy one, but it goes through Lyndon B. Johnson 65, and now we here.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And they done pushed the black woman in corporate America to where she's doing what he was doing in the 70s and 80s. So now you have this, and I seen some shit to where some men will be more mothers as far as cooking and cleaning than some women. It's a lot of men by the end will be better cookers, cleaners, and
You know what? Let's just keep it a buck. I think most men are better cooks than women nowadays.
agree with that.
My dad is a fabulous cook, and he is a man's man.
right.
And he is a great cook, and he taught all my brothers how to cook, and all of them are men's men.
See, my grandma always told me ain't no woman gonna want no man that don't know how to cook. So
See?
she was giving me game.
That's
You
what
know
I'm
what I'm saying?
saying.
So
Yeah,
right.
yeah. And see, my dad's Caribbean, and so obviously Caribbean men just know how to cook.
A man can't cook is so unattractive to me.
Oh my God, isn't it?
A
Or
man
if
that
he can, he think a meal is hot dogs and some
Oh
Doritos or
no,
something,
no, man. I need you to fry some chicken to do something. Shit. You better
and
call
that's
your mama
easy.
for a recipe.
if you're
Hey,
not good at
I got
cooking,
bare minimums.
so ass to be like Jane Bookman from fucking Good Time. No, he was a horrible maintenance man. I need a good maintenance man. Tim the Two Man Taylor, some fucking body. I need
Yeah.
you to know how to fix some shit. Fix some shit. If you can't cook, fuck it. I'll teach you how to make 3 meals. You got to fix. You know what? I ain't fucking with you tonight. You better fix some shit. Y'all got to fix some shit. Man, God damn it.
It's in his blood to tinker with shit and figure it out and fix it and do all that.
Do you think that men that don't, do you think that's a trait that comes from a more feminine quality or less? Or you just think like fuck it and just don't want
What trait? As far as what trait?
a man that just doesn't tinker or doesn't fix on or fuck with shit?
He don't come from that elk of them dudes who get out here. Let me look at this carburetor. Let me look at these rotors. Let me look at these brakes. Let me go over here and touch this because I know he don't come from that.
No, he comes from his mom
He don't
and
come from
growing
that.
up in a house full of women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to get
and
up.
that's okay because
Yeah.
he took his mom's brains and went and got himself a good fucking job so he can hire somebody to come do that
Well,
shit.
let's be honest. A lot of mamas chase the game out the house too. For
That's
that self, so for that award, that I've done it by myself. But you chase the game out the house.
You definitely chase the game out the house.
that's a fact. That's a fact that I'm noticing that keeps coming up. Was it who was the guy that was talking about baby mama culture? Who was the guy that said the last young man that got shot and killed? He said he blamed it on the baby mama culture, and it kind of pissed me off because it was y'all know who he is. It wasn't Shannon Sharp. Was it Shannon Sharp that said it? Who the fuck was it that said it?
Who got shot? You said somebody got shot and killed.
A young man got shot. The last black that got shot.
Not Tyree Nichols, the one that got beat down by the cops.
No, this one got shot. It could have been. We're getting fucked up so much. It's hard to keep track at this point. Like I'm not. It's really hard to keep track. But basically, one of the sports commentators made a comment, which pissed me off because I said, there's two things y'all need to remember. Shit, somebody showed up at her doorstep to make her baby mama. So why are they not being held accountable? And
Mm.
ain't no shortage of ugly bitches pushing strollers.
Hey, but check this though. You got
Fact.
that sound like Jason Whitlock, but you got to understand who owns ESPN. Disney. What what agenda do Disney? Okay, so then you be like, okay, makes sense.
You ain't even got to say. As soon as you said Disney,
Right,
when you
right.
say again, you know what I mean. All of that by itself, But it's just it pisses me off because, like, dude, you allowed them to make you the puppet, and more times than not, we got a lot of us doing fucking soft shoe dances for the motherfuckers.
Oh yeah.
Look good in front of them, keep their job while they, say disparaging things about their own culture, self hate towards us, right? But my problem is, what the fuck made us a part of the baby mama culture? When the fuck do white women start being married to all their baby fathers and Asian women and all of that? When is that? Unless you're going to another country, but we're talking about here. This is
Right here.
America.
Oh, what made is that in '65 when Lyndon B. Johnson said we'll give you this long as ain't no man
Living in your
shoes and stuff
house,
in the house.
Yeah, but it wasn't black women that were
No, no,
jumping.
no, 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 no. It was, but this is what I'm saying. Look at what the Mexican woman. The Mexican woman has never went through that. The white woman's been through it, but she didn't take to it like the black woman did.
yeah.
They've always stuck. Jose been selling oranges on the highway, and that's always been enough for him to come home and get a meal.
Hey.
You know
So
what?
they never got that. They got it, but they never took on to that. Like, nah, I don't care what he is or what's going on. We gonna ride or die with this.
Yeah, but let's be
We
clear
bit.
now. Let's be clear. There's probably more PWT communities out there than there are ghettos.
I never really thought about it until you said it, especially coming from Texas. Again, that being a large Mexican culture and it actually being Mexico.
Yeah, I've seen it in California, man. Shit, I
No,
bought oranges. Fuck
there's
that.
some,
That
there's
should be
some,
good.
there's a
Some
project.
of the
So
sweetest oranges you can get.
I'll use
Right.
that because Texas is the border, right?
Hmm.
They got these projects called the Vida Minde courts. You will not find single women living in the Vida Minde courts. It's a Mexican project.
Hmm.
There's gonna be some man in the household. There is a man in the household. I guarantee you. And like he said, whether he's selling fucking oranges on the side of the street or whether he working for the light company, because a lot of them take up city jobs, but see, they don't mind taking a nice job and living in the projects
Yeah,
because they got a whole bunch of other fucking people they gotta support. You get what I'm saying?
exactly.
I
But
can
they doing it smartly where they're supporting that one family, but one family at a time buys a house.
Well, when 87 said it, that was the first time I ever thought about it, and I looked back childhood wise, and I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Then when you do go into their projects, because typically, everybody, shit is still segregated, whether you know it or not. You'll find some black people in these projects, but it's the West Side, so it's mostly Hispanics. And when you go into that neighborhood, yeah, you will see. The only difference is, now I will say this: the men are in the household, but the men that are in the household also touching them little boys that are in the household too in the Mexican community. Let's not leave that out.
Mm.
They heavy on the touchers. They have a lot of in their community. They have a lot of improprieties when it comes to pedophilia and DV, domestic violence. Real heavy on the pedophilia, real heavy on the domestic violence.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. They what they call machismo, old school Mexican, like ain't no dating no black guy, ain't no looking at no black. They'll beat your ass for that shit because
They
they
will
don't
whoop your ass.
great Mexican culture up in here. You better not walk in here with no fucking mixed baby. You better
You
not walk
talking
in here.
about you talking about the Zook Sooks era, the
No,
machismo?
hell no. It's still like that. The
Yeah.
machismo, no, it's still
Some
like
of them
that.
are still like that.
Yes, it's still in Mexico. It's still like that for surely. In the bottom of California, it's still like that.
See,
And
but why they be always trying to talk about black and brown, but they don't even side with our politics or none of that. They don't
don't.
even the prisoners do be like, look, they rock with the Aryan Brotherhood in
Yeah.
jails,
Yeah.
and in their race they're allowed to tell. Every other race is allowed to tell besides ours.
Oh,
That's because we caught up on some stupid shit.
So in the state of
If we
Texas,
keeping it a buck, I mean,
like
I'm not giving up the rest of my life on no lie.
in the state of Texas is a
Yeah.
little bit different in the prison system because
Oh
they have
yeah.
they have to battle with Mexicans that look like them that want to be white. So they don't got no choice but to stick with the black and brown when they're in there. So if it's a race issue, they don't fuck with white folks where I'm from. They just don't. They'll fuck with you until they don't. You get what
Well,
I'm saying?
like I said, I was in corporate, so you run across La MA, you run across the Mexican mafia, then you got those
How about
paisas.
in the FA, man?
Oh, come on, man, come on. Then you run across the paisas who from Mexico who don't like these Chicanos.
Yep, that's a fact. Yep.
You know what I'm
But you
saying?
know, don't like the Chicanos. The Chicanos came over and they completely shit on their own people. They
Yeah.
completely
Mm.
shit on people, and to them, being a Chicano is the next thing to being a gringo. So like a real Mexican, it's the same shit
You
because
might as well be white. Yeah.
everything else to be like them. You know what I mean? So they do look at it like that. And a lot of them, like straight up, a lot of Mexicans that are real, like from down there by the valley, which is like McAllen, Texas, going to El Paso and all that shit, like right before you get.
Look at her, God. You got that. I ain't got it. You know what I'm saying? That whole, you don't catch it, but
She switched it up. You heard it. Yeah.
okay. I couldn't get that. You know what I'm
What?
saying?
What I
Yeah,
Nah,
you
man.
switched it up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was that Texas talk right there. Like, yeah, like that. They don't talk in. It's just it sounds like a song. It's yeah. It's just I couldn't catch it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm
well, what?
Moreno, King Moreno. Man,
Andrea Moreno.
I
But
don't
yeah,
even know it.
so when you get to that whole region, it's a little bit different. It's very different. They're so heavy into their culture. They don't fuck with nobody. They don't fuck with the Chicanos. They don't fuck with the blacks. They don't fuck with the whites. Mexican only. Mexican
Yeah,
only. Mexican wife. Mexican food. We don't want shit to do with the Americas. Tejas, none of that shit. Y'all can have that part. Y'all stole. Fuck it. We don't want it. There's some that really feel like that. But those are the ones that are comfortable there. Then you have the ones that are not comfortable, who have family that have left, who have gone to Texas and made a way because it's more money. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So those are the ones that get called traitors on either way. You got the Mexicans from Mexico feeling like you're a traitor, and then you got the Chicanos that don't accept you. You know what I mean? So then you got to hang with us.
shout out all the Paisas, the Chicanas, the Southerners, the Northerners. Shout out all y'all. I'm just observing.
Yeah. That's all we can do. That's all we can do. Man, we got a ton of comments, man. Frank been going crazy over here. Y'all want to redo some of this stuff
Let's get it.
before we sign out? All right, we'll just rotate. Go ahead, establish.
It would scare you to think about this 65 riots, 92 riots, and 84 Olympics. Which one is the most arrests? Hold on. Which one sing the most arrests? I would say the 92 riots.
I'd say the 84 Olympics.
I'll have to say the 92 riots too.
Hold on, Frank. 65 riots. Hold on, bro.
Wait,
Hold
wait,
on.
wait. Hold up, hold up. No, it had to be 65. Shit. Ames is grabbing niggas just
I don't even know a 65.
65 in LA, right? Yeah, that has to
Now,
be.
92 was in LA.
Yeah, 92 was in LA, 65 in Watts.
Oh, okay. I know about the 65 one. Never mind. Never
The
mind. Never mind.
Olympics.
I'll say the 92.
I would say the 92 also.
Huh. Interesting. Hopefully you answer us, Frank. All right, go ahead, Dutch. Read what he got.
I You guessed right and said Olympics. You good 28,000 arrests of minority 10 times higher than both riots.
Damn.
Oh, at the Olympics?
That
See, but
because
that's
white
probably was
folks
a
was in
given.
town.
See, that
White
probably was
folks
a
was
given.
in
Yeah,
town.
just the Olympics bring more people in general, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, shout out. Go ahead. Malik had it. Sorry.
It's
It's
similar to
similar. Oh, go
and
ahead. Go ahead.
not listing in school. I'm lost now.
Similar to wearing red in the crypts, not listening in
All
school.
right, next.
That happened at the same time. A journalist was
Okay.
murdered here in Nevada last year, and the suspect is an elected official. Jeez Louise.
I have to do my homework on
Yeah,
that.
that's like that motherfucker in California, that
Yeah.
elected official that was snatching up homeless gay men and was raping and drugging them and killing them for pleasure. He got a kick out of that, and nobody believed him at first. And it just came out like a year or two ago that he was preying on homeless, uh, black gay men that were addicts. But his kick, his fetish was drugging them and watching them mysteriously die. That was his kick. That was his fetish. Wasn't the fucking part. It was the drugging them. Brittany
Jeez Louise.
Garner
Don't
is,
surprise me.
Yeah, she was an example.
yeah, Brittany did some dumb shit though.
Oh yeah, them concentration camps in the U.S. during World War II, the Japs.
We
Yeah,
still
they had
have
them all locked up.
Frankie boy. We still got concentration camps.
Shit.
There were people in concentration camps down at in the Devil's Peach Bowl in Mississippi. Look that up. Where the mass graves there. Look up Devil's Peach Bowl. A lot of people don't know about that.
Concentration camps were preschool compared to what the plantations.
Amen. Speak. Go ahead, Establish.
Oh,
Daniel,
Devil's Peach Bowl.
Daniel
You know,
9, the seventh day vision once came to Israel, the nation against time. Okay, next.
you guys know
You
about
guys know
the
about the lawsuit.
Roscoe's
Roscoe
Chicken
shit.
Waffle for racial discrimination through Redden Pico Showdown.
No shit. You'll have to
No.
look that up. Roscoe's Law.
I didn't know about that.
I didn't either.
Trump changed that he made it okay to hate a white man being a white man. Huh?
What part of VA you from, Frank?
No, that's the Youth Authority.
That's authority.
It's Kim Kardashian from Turkey.
She Persian.
Yeah,
She
she's
Persian, so it ain't too far off. Okay.
Not, yeah, it's all,
Armenian. Yeah.
that's why Mexican Americans, it's like the Mexican nationalists now. That is, yeah, there's some truth to that too.
But listen, Mexico got a big problem. They not gonna own Mexico in a minute when after China get finished with them. But that's a whole nother story.
Are we talking about Mexico or Africa? Be specific.
Both.
Whoa.
Both.
I just thought I'd throw that
Both.
shit in there. Just saying, we talk about Mexico. We
Oh,
talk about
how about this? Bahamas too. They're gone.
listen, them motherfuckers practically own like Jamaica getting their country from the British means nothing because the Chinese practically fucking own that shit now.
Yep.
Like you go
See
to
what
Jamaica, yeah, you're gonna see plenty Trinidad too. They're all over Trinidad and they're all over fucking Jamaica.
Oh yeah.
Fact.
Oh yeah. Yeah. One of my close friends is Chinese and Jamaican.
Yeah. There's a lot of Jamaicans too. That
Yeah.
are,
There's tons
I
of
would
them.
have to see that. I think I've never seen that before.
Yeah, there's plenty of them.
Chinese Jamaicans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot of that in
There's
Jamaica.
tons
Oh,
of
a
them.
lot. Yes, and there's also Chinese of non-African descent Jamaicans. Their family went there years ago and they never intermixed with the Jamaicans. They just kept the Chinese, but they've been living there for generations and they're their nationality now is Jamaican. Their race is Asian, but their nationality is Jamaican. But you will see some actual Chinese that have intermixed with Jamaicans and that's super common. Yeah, right. Crazy, right?
I have to look
Ain't
that
a
up.
bad looking dude either. Shit.
I have to look that up.
See what I can find.
Birth certificate. All right. Oh, this is why CB had to go with NIP. Okay. Birth certificate. Look, COVID-19, how it evolved in just 2 years. Yeah.
Oh, that Asian gene still strong though.
Very. Yeah.
It's dominant. Oh, okay. That's not bad. Okay.
See, he said that's not bad. I told you he was kind of cute. Shit.
It's at the bottom. It says we are Chinese Jamaican.
Yeah.
What about Vicky though?
Vic's an Italian African.
Lord. All right.
Okay.
This is why eggs are skyrocketing in the price. Yeah. Fatherless homes. Yep. All right, come on, somebody help me out.
That is the Lynch theory. Turn men against women, and this is what I am.
Dealing with CPS right now. Yeah.
They think we're all deadbeats.
Mm.
I don't think they think that they're all deadbeats. I think they just like to They don't think it. They just like to perpetuate the stereotype.
Yeah.
Well, I get what he's talking about because even the child support system, you could be taking care of your child. They're just structured to be against you, and you're not shit. You be
Yeah.
like,
There was a
you
man
even know me?
that overpaid. He overpaid his child support, and that was a problem. Where in the fuck is overpaying your child support? And you can look this up.
Yeah, that's true. Corey Holcomb told a story about that. He went to go write the check, and the lady was like, "Well," and he was like, "Yo, just
I just want to give my kids some extra.
yeah."
And I'd rather it come through you guys.
Somehow overpaying your child support is just as bad as not paying your child. Where the fuck they do that at? But apparently that's a problem.
Because the government don't get their equity.
Hoover, Reagan, and Nixon started the plan to take us down.
We'll be here all night fucking with Frank. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Facts. Frank got a lot of shit to say. I'm just gonna run through.
The problem exists in the Ella housing project. They burned the blacks out.
Yeah,
but he do some reading though. He be reading.
Motherfucker, you should have just logged in and got on the.
I know, Frank. We gonna have you on the next show. Mom went
Frank
through
be
it
reading
hard.
though.
Yeah.
It's crazy. The pen changed, and Florence and the East Coast almost ended the race war. Feds had to break.
He
their
talking
shit.
prison talk. He talking when motherfuckers say Florence, Frank. They don't know what Florence is, bro.
Watts riot, 65 and 92, Olympics, Operation Hammer. Operation Hammer.
What? Lawrence, wait.
Oh,
it's a prison.
It's a prison. And remember Olympics in 2024. Oh, they coming back to California? Oh, you know what? I never liked her, Frank. I never liked her. I never liked her because I'm from California, and we Californians know what Kamala Harris is all about. I'm just gonna put it out there.
I call her the Kabbalah.
Kamala.
I call her
Inglewood.
You know what?
Where?
You know what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to take that one. Anybody know what that Kabbalah is? You know what? That's crazy.
Oh yeah. Oh, because I call her the Kabbalah.
Yes.
And we know what that thing say, so it's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to take that one. That's her new name.
The Kabbalah, yeah.
Kabbalah Harris.
Kabbalah Harris.
Yep, Kabbalah Harris. You know, if you know, you know. That's one of the things. If you know, you know.
And on that note, we've been here with you guys 2 hours, so we're about to sign out.
Y'all, we had holidays and all types of shit. We might even try to start this up a little bit earlier in the daytime. Y'all bear with us. We're trying to work it out.
Yeah.
Our time for the night. Thank you, Mr. 87.
Thank you for coming through. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Any final words, people?
Drop us some jewels and gems too. We'll see what we can pick out and might discuss something.
All right.
Y'all stay dangerous out here.
All right, man. Good night, everybody.